Okay, question. When was the last time a first signature shoe was unveiled the same NBA season that a signature athlete won the NBA championship? I know it's a tough one, but only because here's the truth. The last time it happened was back in the 2014-2015 NBA season. It was the time when Under Armour launched Steph Curry's first signature shoe, the Curry 1, and when the Golden State Warriors won the championship since 1975. I ask that question because this 2024 to 2025 NBA season history is sure to repeat. Two NBA players debut their first signature basketball shoes, and one of them will be this year's NBA champion. You have Puma's Hali 1 for the Pacers' Tyrese Haliburton, and Converse Shai 001 for the Thunder's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Either way, it's inevitable. Whether it's the Thunder or the Pacers winning it all this NBA Finals, a first signature shoe will debut with a championship to its name. It's definitely going to be a historic one for both Puma and Converse, which is a breath of fresh air outside your usual Nikes and Jordans. So let's have a quick conversation. At this point in time, most of you probably already know about SGA and his Converse signature shoe, so let me first start with Tyrese instead. On June 5, 2025, Puma officially unveiled the Hali 1, the first signature shoe of Tyrese. Hours later, Tyrese debuted the basketball shoe in Game 1 of the 2025 NBA Finals against the Thunder, and he did it with a clutch jumper to take the win. The Hali 1 is said to have been designed by Salehi Bembury. The shoe basically has Salehi's characteristic design features on the midsole and on the plastic side panels. Other than that, the only thing about the shoe that reminds me of Tyrese is the logo at the heel and tongue, and it kind of makes me wonder because somehow it feels like the design of the Puma Hali 1 might have been completed before Puma signed Tyrese back in October 2024, which kind of makes sense because Puma signed Salehi months earlier, which was in July 2024. Just adding Tyrese's logo after the shoe's design has been completed would have been very easy for Puma and Salehi. In a way, the Puma Hali 1 seems to be the signature shoe of Salehi, just called by a different name. Now, I cannot say the same thing about the Converse Shai 001, first because we don't really know who the designer is, so it's quite difficult to make comparisons from a portfolio standpoint, and second because Converse has been doing a great job at marketing the sneakers solely as Shai's basketball shoe. I mean, the fact is that the first 5 colorways unveiled so far have a lot to do with the people close to Shai. Those include the colorways for Shai's child, his mother, his wife, and his brother. All those colorways are inspired by his family, and yet they all still point back to Shai himself. Of course, the Converse Shai 001 was officially unveiled a few months earlier, so it has a head start. That was in February 2025, or 4 months back from the time the Puma Hali 1 was unveiled. We will probably see more colorways of Tyrese's shoe unveiled in the next couple of weeks. But the question is, will all of them have any backstory that ties back to him? It's true that this NBA Finals will have an NBA champion with his first signature shoe regardless of which team wins. However, the implications are different for the two brands. For Converse, a championship for Shai is validation for signing him back in 2020. It took 5 years for Converse to get to where it is today since signing Shai, and 6 years since it officially returned to basketball shoes back in 2019. On the flip side, it took more effort for Puma. It's true that the brand just signed Tyrese last October 2024, and barely 8 months later, Puma unveiled his first signature shoe. However, Puma began its return to basketball in 2018 and has released 3 signature shoes, 2 of which are for NBA athletes, but none of them have been on the same level of hype and anticipation as the Puma Hali 1. It's basically a lesson on calculated business trial and error. You can say that Puma had to try and learn a couple of times before hitting something big, while Converse waited and took that shot when the moment was right. 2 different paths that have led them to the same big stage. But I think the reward is bigger for Converse for staying patient, while for Puma it's more of a redemption game. When Under Armour launched the first signature shoe of Steph Curry while facing the prospect of having a run to the finals, the brand had nothing to lose but everything to gain. And looking back, the gamble paid off for the brand. That may be the same scenario here for both Puma and Converse, two brands trying to crawl back into significance in the world of basketball shoes, with Converse having the efficiency but with Puma having the momentum. Either way, it's now or never because the opportunity is as rare as it gets. Whoever wins the championship will definitely have the edge in terms of publicity, but appearing in the NBA Finals alone is already a win for both Puma and Converse. But between the two, who do you got? Let me know what you think.